Welcome to the Lyvely podcast. I'm your host, Dave Catudal, and today joined by Jade Palmer, Nike Master Trainer and co-creator of the Uncommon Club. I'm really excited for this conversation today, and I'm excited to learn more about the Uncommon Club. So we're going to dive right into that. But one of the reasons why I'm really excited for this conversation is the Lyvely podcast is all about raw, unfiltered, unscripted conversations with coaches, creators, and business owners, and the builders, those who are creating something and living a passion-based career and following something that really drives them or teaching something. So I think there's something to learn from all of these journeys. And a couple of those things that I just said, like coach and business owner or entrepreneur, you check a couple of those boxes.
Yeah, a couple of those.
Yeah. So I want to hear about Uncommon Club and how you came to, co-create that. But let's start at the beginning. You're now a Nike Master Trainer.
Yes.
How did your career and path as a coach begin?
Well, firstly, thank you for having me on the podcast. So my journey to being a Nike Master Trainer started purely out of the passion for movement. I'm from New Zealand, and naturally movement is just a thing that we do, whether it's out walking around, whether it's going for a run. Like there's this typical 9 to 5, and then after 5 p.m., don't you dare message anybody or anything like that. Like go out, do like your evening stroll or your run or your walk, or go to, there was a lot of extracurricular activities, especially growing up in school. And my parents, like I thank them actually now that I look back on it, maybe not at the time, but they put me into so many different sports and different things, from performing arts to like athletics. So I got to, I would say I'd had a really nice, well-rounded childhood when it came to movement and expressing that and what that meant for me. And it brought me to the point where running really became something big in my life. And it purely started based out of just the enjoyment of movement, but then it got to the point where it was like, okay, like I'm kind of getting good at this. Like, where can I level this up? What can I do? So at uni really put a lot of the sports that I was doing during school to the side and just focused on my studies. So by trade, I'm a graphic designer.
You are?
Yeah. So
I had no idea.
Yeah. So there was kind of like a 180 moment there where it was like, okay, like I love this, but at the same time, I have a passion for movement. So just as kind of like a mental clock off, I would go to the Nike run clubs that they hosted in Auckland, in the city, and I'd just participate. And participation wound me up getting a pacer role, and then that pacer role turned into being part of the Nike training club at the time, which was purely female focused, and it was offering space for women to move freely, whether that was from yoga to HIIT to social events and learning a little bit more about our bodies. And that basically got me noticed by my then boss here in Dubai, where they were like, oh, we're seeing you posting on like Instagram, when Instagram was very much about like just post something quickly, filter whatever filter you want to from Instagram. And yeah, basically through posting just the things that I was doing and what I was enjoying, it got me noticed here. And basically I was plucked from New Zealand to come in, evolve the women's training club here in the city of Dubai.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Sorry, that was a really long trek around, but I had to.
I love that because, again, I'm really happy we're having this conversation. And for anyone listening, like, I love that journey from finding something you love, right? And just doing it because you love it, right?
Yeah.
That turning into, a habit and something that, I mean, you got handpicked from social media, from New Zealand to Dubai. Yeah. And that right there for me is such a beautiful progression, right? It's how passion turns into career. Yeah. So, and what an amazing thing that Nike is doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's incredible.
Incredible that they wanted, especially within the UAE, wanted to grow. Actually, not the UAE, the GCC wanted to grow that space because back then, and we're talking like almost 10 years ago now.
10 years ago?
Yeah, I've been in Dubai for almost 10 years.
This was 10 years ago?
Only 10 years ago. So like
well, no, that's a long time ago.
Well,
so that
a long time, but like it feels like just yesterday.
Wow. Okay. So that gives me a very good perspective. Thanks for saying that. Okay, so 10 years. Okay, wow.
Yeah, so the fact that they wanted to explore that space and really give women that opportunity as anybody else would to understand their bodies, to understand what it feels like to have daily movement as part of your daily habits was so important. And for me, I was like, do you know what? That sounds like something that I'd love to try and explore a little bit more of. And here we are today, gone from, still very much part of the Nike training community as a master trainer, but also seeing where it's gone from, or where we all started as like 2-3 women in a really small space, to now like looking at sessions where we were delivering a session to over 5,000 women at one.
5,000 women?
Yeah. So
in person?
In person. So it was a huge event that happened, I want to say in 2017.
Was it here in Dubai or Abu Dhabi?
It was here in Dubai.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was basically the Nike Training Club hosted these huge events globally. And because I was in Dubai, they were like, let's see how we can involve Jade in and amongst this. And basically the week that I arrived in Dubai was the same week that I stood on stage in front of 5,000 women and delivered a session.
Seriously?
Yeah. So I'm like 21-year-old, like completely naive, but I'm like just yes woman at the time.
Go
I'm
with
like,
it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, good for you. Wow, wow.
So that was like really cool to, again, get that firsthand experience of seeing the potential of what then was the women's training sphere and how we could use this as those building blocks to go from here to here.
So thank you for saying that. And that's really interesting. That, again, this is the progression, right? So you're 21 years old, you're training, you're coaching a group of 5,000 women. And one question I have for you, I was thinking about it as you were saying it. Did you ever consider yourself like a digital creator during the time where you were like this coach and trainer?
Definitely not. Like it was, and again, I go back to those posts that I was making on Instagram when it was literally just about instant uploads.
People taking pictures of their food.
I was taking a picture through the IG app itself, whereas now it's like there's a whole process you've got to make sure it looks like pristine or a particular way.
Yeah. Wow, old school.
So I definitely didn't consider that, but I realized how much it was going to help elevate what was happening in those moments and being able to capture those and show people that from my perspective as well.
Yeah, and that led to building this community ultimately.
Yeah.
So, I love these stories. So, and again, when you probably never even imagined your trajectory taking you to the point where you're standing on stage, like coaching 5,000 people.
Yeah.
And that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You're 21. Okay. So now, how did that experience lead you to where you are today? And what, fill in that 10-year gap? From then to now, what was the journey?
Again, led through the Nike Training Club. We would host weekly events throughout the city. We had certain studios that would go to deliver those sessions and would have different trainers that would alternate between. But basically, we went into one of these studios and I was like, hey, I feel like I could actually coach here a bit more permanently.
Nice.
And that being on Nike's radar as a space where they wanted to host, it was kind of like a win-win. So
perfect. Yep.
Basically started taking sessions there just as a freelancer, and when we'd have the Nike sessions, would stay there. But basically that kind of just snowballed into, taking a few more elevated events with Nike outside, but then from there coaching it in person. And then if I really skip and fast forward to 2020, the year we all know. That year, need I say more?
Yeah, nope.
The gym I was working at the time basically said, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to to pay you, like many other like places that I heard as well. Not so much gyms, but in particular, this one was like, listen, like, we're in a pretty tough position. We're not going to be able to pay. As long as our doors are closed, we're unable to do this, that, and the other. And it was kind of a moment of like, I definitely had like 5 minutes of having a moment. And we're all sitting around this table, and I was like, you know what? Like, I was looking across at my my fiance now across the table, and I was like, listen, like, we've got to like get our energy and like think about like quickly on our feet to be at least a Band-Aid roll for people, because it's an overnight thing. Gyms are shutting, and
everybody was impacted. In some capacity, everybody was impacted.
So it was very much a like 5 minutes, have a moment, and then, okay, let's think about what we can do. And we're like, why don't we just start taking small sessions outside on the canal here in Dubai with some people who maybe want to still get some sort of movement in their day. So we had limited sessions or limited session numbers at least. And then we'd have maybe 3 to 4 sessions that would run. So a couple in the morning, a couple in the evening, all like distance between each other and everything like that. No chance of like crossing past each other. So basically, fast forwarding to going through those sessions, then we were told by one of the members that, listen, they're projecting this is going to be longer than the 2 weeks or the 14 days that they're saying. And I remember some people being like, oh, you know, like in denial, like this will pass.
Exactly.
And as we know it, it didn't just pass. It stuck around for a good time and a long time.
Too long.
Too long, exactly. However, it forced us to move things online. So we looked at how we could continue to deliver sessions, but also keeping people in a safe capacity as well. So we said, you know what, let's just jump on Zoom and see how we go. So we basically...
Hold on, a run club?
No, so this was a training club.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain that a little bit more. So a training club like fitness?
Fitness,
okay,
yep. So we were taking like hit sessions and strength sessions.
Oh, so body weight stuff you can do at home.
Exactly.
Got it.
But us being us, we were like, if we're going to do this, we're damn going to do this really well. So we looked at our experience in the online fitness space. And if anybody who's in the online fitness space knows how saturated it is.
Yes.
Both good and bad.
Yeah.
Kudos to anybody who's found their thing and like continue to do that. Like keep doing that.
Yeah.
Do whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
At the same time, we were looking at those holes that we were like,
how do I do something different?
That's amazing, but this is like a space where we can come in and actually go,
That's very calculated. It's interesting how you took that business approach. Like you were really finding like we need to solve a problem, but we have to do it our way.
It was very much a forced problem as well, because at the end of the day, we're like, if we got to put bread on the table, like we've got to like really figure out how we're going to do this. Wow. And we didn't do it by half measures. So we actually did a lot of market research. We'd jump on other sessions that were happening around the world. So we'd do like Y7, we'd do like a whole lot of studios around the... Didn't actually go that far, but we were like, she's definitely like doing well for herself.
She's doing it. Yeah.
So we jumped onto a whole lot of market research through studios that were in the US and just taking the good and the bad and the things that we could potentially use to cater to our market as well.
Sure. Yeah.
And
smart. Really smart.
Basically, we ended up doing all of these workouts through Zoom. We were taking up to 9 sessions a day at one point.
Group sessions.
And it was just myself and my fiance taking these sessions out of our studio apartment.
Okay.
So
is he a trainer too? So
he's a trainer too. Yeah.
Well,
so he comes from the rugby background, but then also he's got the training side under his belt as well. Okay. So our studio turned into a fitness studio.
I love that. Wow.
And we basically decided, if we're going to ask people to do certain things, we don't want them just to be, gallons of water like filled and squat with that.
Right.
We went the step further to approach a friend who owns a fitness company, fitness equipment company, said, listen, how many like dumbbells do you have ranging from this to this? Whoa. And he was like, I've got like the last few. Let's see what we can do. So basically bought 30 dumbbells.
Okay.
and basically seeded that to all of our community at the time.
Wow.
And we were like, if there's one thing we know is that not everybody has access to that. And also at the time, finding equipment or even just a pair of dumbbells online was
it was like a black market. It was like,
It was like, how can I do this hush hush thing under the table?
Yo,
and
man,
like
got dumbbells. It was. I remember.
We got so lucky, like really blessed that we were able to get our hands on 30 dumbbells for people.
Okay.
And then basically sent people on their way, said, if you want to get like the pair for that, we can get that for you as well.
Damn, you became
pay
a
for
dealer.
that. So we basically, like, it was this weird like ecosystem going on.
You were just hustling.
Exactly.
You were hustling.
And
you were making it happen.
Exactly. And I'm like, you know what? We were taking up to 9 sessions a day, 45 minutes long. And this is ranging from like strength days to body weight days.
Right.
Like we had a core and cardio day. We had like a Sunday service day where it was kind of like whatever goes, like goes. But
for everyone listening, like this is such an important story because that situation that was beyond everyone's control, right? Again, this is the birth of Lyvely as well, right? Like during that time, we saw our friends and family like lose their livelihoods. But what you did is remarkable. Is like and it's amazing that you had a partner that was in it with you, right? Like that teamwork is incredible, and what a dynamic. But like you turned your coaching into online like that, but you did research. You found out, okay, how can we do this differently? You understood the landscape and you understood how to offer people something of value, and you probably understood the right price range and everything. It's amazing what you did. And then you ended up saying, okay, well, they need equipment. So you became a distributor. But how did you get these clients? Like, were they all already in your network, or where did these people come from?
So these people were at the gym that we were at, and basically we were given a springboard. A message, an email was sent out to the members. Like, if you're looking for a little bit more, like if you want to have some sort of movement,
right?
We're like, Jade's going to be doing these things.
Right. So they already knew you.
So they already knew me. There was already that relationship, already that trust, which is definitely important when it comes to doing anything for your body.
Of course.
So we were very lucky that we had a group of people who still trusted in us, even though we were taking them completely out of a familiar zone of training.
Right.
And going, hey, we're going to be delivering these sessions online. We decided to gamify our sessions so people could have their workout displayed on the screen through different kinds of technology that was going on behind the scenes. We'd have certain playlists made for the day so people could tune in, play the tunes on whatever speaker they wanted to. And eventually from that, a couple of years, even like post-COVID, we were able to then take all of that and put it onto our app.
So this turned into an app.
Yeah. So it was like the back level of, okay, people are kind of going back to their usual routine, going back to the gyms or
the
whether
landscape
that's
changed.
Exactly. So we're like, okay, like if that's how it's changing, we've got to pivot as well. So yeah, then it was all about like this research around apps and the right ones and like third party. Like we weren't in a position where we could.
You're not
I would have
code
loved,
your own app.
I would have loved to have been in the position to have our own
hustle.
thing.
If you built your own app, I'd be like, okay, wow, this is like some Elon Musk stuff, right?
Definitely not there. But yeah, so we're like, let's take a look at some third party apps that we can host these workouts. And basically to this day, our online community is still huge, but then we've also got the opportunity to have people in person as well. So through semi-private sessions too.
Wow.
And we're so lucky that our community is just amazing, both online and in person.
This is incredible.
And I think it really, really helps. But our biggest growth or how people heard about us was all through word of mouth. We didn't do, like if I was to show you our social, our IG page, you'd be like, oh, okay, like I can kind of pick up what's going on here, but I don't fully understand what's going on. But the amount of people who just talked about us. We went from not just being in Dubai, we were in 52 different cities.
52 cities.
Around the world.
From your little apartment.
From
filming. That you've never done this before. You put together an online program and it spread to 52 cities.
Exactly.
This is incredible. Yeah. I asked you before, like, did you consider yourself a digital creator? Now I'm going to ask you something else. Do you feel like an entrepreneur?
See, so we were talking before this, and when you chucked that word out, I was like, I don't think I'm there yet, in terms of accepting that, because I've always been known as Jade, the Nike master trainer, or Jade, the coach, or Jade who teaches at Barry's.
I hear you.
So I guess like it's still one of those things that I'm kind of like coming to terms with. I think it's purely because I'm just in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not realizing actually what's the byproduct of me being in it and just hustling.
Totally hear you. See, but that's the beauty. This is the entrepreneur journey, right? It's not you study to be an entrepreneur and then you study all the ways you need to do something and then you execute. It's something that happens one foot in front of the other, right? You adapt to the situation that you're put in, right? Which you did beautifully, by the way. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Like you turned a challenge into an opportunity. You turned a passion into a career, and then you turned your community into a business and literally into an app now. So congratulations.
Thanks.
This is, you are very
I'm really bad
much
at taking compliments as well. You'll learn this about me.
You're all right. You're all right. But no, seriously, I mean, this is, again, I hope my wish with Lyvely and our mission with Lyvely is to help people take similar journeys to what you have taken. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know what you're doing all the time. You just have to know, I enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
I want to keep doing this, and I want to monetize this. And it will grow if you stay focused and you're very calculated in the way that you put it together in such a way where, I mean, you did research, right? That I really admire. I think that was a really smart thing to do because you got it right the first time.
Yeah.
You know, you got it right, and that was able to spread. And I think that's brilliant. So what is this app called?
I mean, now it's transitioned into the Uncommon Club.
Oh, so that's the Uncommon Club.
So yeah, we were once called Workout Went Viral.
Hold on, it was called Workout Went Viral?
Workout Went Viral. So
that's good.
And that was literally just something that was
that's a good name.
Thought up in like 3 minutes.
Okay.
We're like, what should we call this? Okay, Workout Went Viral.
And it did. Manifested.
Yeah.
Very smart. Wow.
So now it's called the Uncommon Club, but
Okay. Wow.
Which kind of now brings me to where I am today, still doing freelance coaching and personal training on like the on the side.
Yeah,
but
of course.
The Uncommon Club now
hustle.
is sort of where the passion lies. And I still say passion because, and as you were saying, like entrepreneurship and like sticking it out, I think a lot of people think they can do it, but get to a certain point where there's so many different roadblocks and it's like, if I go this way, it's going to be like that. If I go that way, or if I don't do anything at all, like maybe this is not for me.
Yeah, that way you can't fail.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, no, just like if you were just like stuck it out just a little bit longer,
good for you.
Like you would get your flowers on the other side.
Yeah, I'm going to say it. You're an entrepreneur because along your journey, and I can speak from experience, like everything will break, right? Something will break and then everything will break. And it is how you put that back together and how you keep going that defines, are you going to make this work, right? It's not about having the best idea. It's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about literally just keep going and adapting your strategy. And so you are on that journey. And I love that. I think there's so much to learn from this conversation. I'm really happy we're having this. Okay, so Uncommon Club and Uncommon is the app name now?
Yeah, so the Uncommon Club is the app. And then we also, so we've got 2 apps floating around at the moment. So we've got one that lives on the Locals app, which is where all of our community lies. And that was just released on Sunday.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah. So we launched that on Sunday. Nice. And basically the Uncommon Club in a nutshell is a community, a running membership-based community.
Running membership-based community.
Exactly. So yes, at the center, running is what we live and breathe. But from our experiences, from endurance runs to just being in the fitness space, we know that the running also has a few other elements that to be a better runner or more efficient runner.
I see what you're saying. Right.
As a runner, there's things that you should also be considering as well. So basically with the membership, people get access to partners that we have, and that can be from a nutrition perspective, a recovery perspective, mental health. So through that membership, basically people get to get access to that, but also get to have ongoing conversations around how can I do this better
that
and how can I
holistic approach.
Exactly.
Got it. That's really, again, very smart.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And so does your community get, like on your app, I'm just trying to understand your product. Does your community get to engage with each other? and communicate with each other, or is it kind of a closed group? They're all part of something. How does that work?
With the Uncommon app, the Uncommon Club app, we have opportunity where people get to chat to each other, to say, hey, like I'm in this phase of my training block.
Perfect.
I'm going to be doing this run. Who would like to join me, or I'm going to be here. Yeah. So it's very much community-led, community-focused. Exactly. And that's what we said from the very beginning. Like, yes, like running is amazing, and one, not everybody can do it, but two, also people want to know more about it, and it seems to be a thing now. People are in their running era. Yeah, I'm like, where did all these people come from?
Like, run clubs are everywhere now.
Yeah. So we're like, do you know what? Let's give people that space where they, no matter if they're a seasoned runner or a first-time runner, they can have that opportunity to get all the bells and whistles that helps you become just that 1% better every single day.
Exactly. And what I love about this is one of the things that I love about a community is you have the seasoned runners and the beginners in the same ecosystem. The beginners can ask the seasoned runners for advice, and then you have everybody helping each other. Then you have a really like synergistic environment where people are growing and helping each other. And that's what a community is all about, right?
Exactly. So. And like for us, we want it to get to a stage, which it has in the past through being known as something else. Right. 777.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh wait, it's not. So you were 777.
We were 777 before,
and now you're Uncommon.
And now we're called the Uncommon Club.
Okay,
so
wait,
basically,
you were viral workout.
So there's a few different pillars here.
We skipped a step here. Okay.
So basically, workout went viral is from my side for the strength and mobility aspect.
Yeah, your online training that went to 52 cities.
Exactly. Yes. Then we have 777, which was the big race that basically myself and 6 other amazing guys did. And basically that was 7 ultra marathons, 7 days in the 7 Emirates.
Wow.
So
that's remarkable.
Yeah. So
I heard about that. And I wasn't involved in any capacity other than knowing. Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like you needed some recovery and some support on that one.
Exactly. Basically we grew this amazing community through what we were doing, and the initiative and the goal of 777 was definitely personal growth for sure.
Always is.
But at the forefront, it was supporting those who are affected in Sudan by the war that's going on as well. Oh, wow. So for us, that was the main goal of getting donations.
So you're raising charity to...
Exactly. Oh, wow. So it was a charity element to it. Beautiful. And that's what we always wanted to be able to, if we can do something that can help somebody else, then why the hell wouldn't we do it?
That drives you too, doesn't it?
Exactly. Wow. So that's another another
motivator. Add that in. Yeah, good for you.
Exactly. So through 777 and everything that we were doing through there, we basically grew this amazing community of people, of like-minded individuals who also wanted to help somebody else, and through that learn a bit more about themselves when it comes to running or just getting out and making movement a daily habit. So basically from 777 we transitioned into chapter 2, which is the Uncommon Club.
Uncommon Club.
So again,
I like that. Great name, by the way.
Great name, right?
The Uncommon Club. Yeah, really
Shout out to Asma and Stefan.
Yeah, wow. Well
so now we are called the Uncommon Club, and we're there to service those who want to learn a bit more about themselves within the running space. But again, as mentioned before, wanting to get a full 360 of that, how they can eat better, how they can fuel themselves better, what recovery tools can they do that are going to help themselves to wake up the next day and be like, you know what, I'm feeling so ready to take on this run or take on that
even
session.
Though I just ran and did all that.
Exactly.
Wow.
So very much learning about themselves through that journey.
That's beautiful.
At the same time as like having the community come together and just sort of like-minded people. And I don't know, I'm all about community.
Yeah, I'm
like, do you want a piece of it? Come along. You as well? Come through.
But this is, again, there's so many gold nuggets in this discussion.
Yeah, sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit.
But you're jumping to all the right places. You're jumping to all the right places. Again, community, business, and what I love, the common thread through all of this is like, you're a coach at heart. Right?
Yeah.
Like you can tell, you love to coach, right? You love to give the information that you've learned along your journey and share that like infectious like passion that you have, right? And that's at the core of it, that's what's going to build and drive a community, right? Is when the community leaders have this passion and have this purpose that they want everybody to experience that same, the win, right? You want everyone to win.
For sure.
So now that you're the Uncommon Club
Yeah.
and you have the Uncommon app. How do the two meet so that your physical community and your app community, like how? And one more question, where do you see this going? Because to date, from what I'm gathering, everything you've done has just evolved.
Yeah.
Right? It's just evolved. But now it seems like you're at a point where like, this is a business. Let's be honest. This is a business, right?
It's definitely a business. Like it's still a passion project, but it's definitely
but it's a business, right?
Yeah.
So where is this going? Where do you see this going?
I mean, upwards and onwards for sure.
Great answer. Great answer.
Just to be very cutthroat and straight to the
She's
point.
Optimistic. Yeah.
But also, I've been in and around the fitness space, especially within the city, for I would like to say a considerable amount of time.
Oh, you're a pro.
So seeing the different trends and the different habits of people within the city, for me, it makes it's a no-brainer for this not to do well.
Yeah.
Like with the man and the woman power behind this to fuel it, I can't see where we can't go wrong. And maybe somebody's like, she's in denial. But honestly, it's very much like if you trust what you're doing and you believe in what you're doing, other people are going to gravitate to that as well.
They will.
Like you said, like it's somebody who's got like good energy and like loves what they do.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, that person's probably going to get a little bit more attention and people are going to gravitate toward.
That's the authentic magnet.
Yeah.
That is actually, it's marketing 101, but you can't teach it. You have to have it, right? So you're either purpose driven and passion led or you're not, right?
Yeah.
And people can sense that, right? So
For sure.
you're building a business, but you're not running it like a business.
Exactly.
I can see already what you're doing is you're community centric. You're focused on your community, and that is becoming a business. And you're kind of putting the bricks together along the way,
Exactly.
which I think is brilliant because this can go anywhere.
And honestly, this is why we felt like we needed to have an app where people could connect together. So if you are a member, basically you get all of the bells and whistles. You get access to us from a community-led side, but also at the same time you get to chat to the people or the familiar faces that you see at the runs, at the technique sessions, at the conversation experiences that we hold. And even if you aren't part of that membership, on Thursdays we still have a community run where anybody and everybody is welcome. Open. You want to run, you want to walk, you want to crawl, do it. Like we're here for you.
Just join us.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you. That's amazing. So now clearly when you have meetups and you have this, like you're regional, right? So this is focused regional.
Yeah.
Is the Uncommon app available to anyone?
Just within Dubai at the moment.
Got it.
But we've had some conversations where we're like, if this thing really kicks off.
I was going to say, I see where this is going. Okay,
yeah. So we've had people from outside of the UAE actually reach out and be like, hey, like, we see what's going on. Is it potential that this could, move outside? And I'm like, honestly, like, never say never.
Why not?
If we don't try, we don't know.
Yeah, master the territory you're in, get that blueprint, and then there's no reason that can't scale.
100%.
Wow, exciting.
Yeah, so a lot's happening. But,
no, I love this.
Again, I always come back to, like, it's do more of the stuff that you enjoy.
Amen.
Like, if you are waking up and you're already dreading what the day looks like maybe you need to think about, like, what's actually going on. Like, you only live once.
Yeah.
Like,
amen. No, but so I'm glad you just said that because it's a sensitive subject because we all have that fear of failure. At some level, we all have a fear of failure.
Yep.
Whether we let that stop us or not is a defining factor in a lot of, ultimately your success or your failure or your growth, whether you stay where you are or you go on this, upwards trajectory. And then, of course, there's imposter syndrome, right? Like, I think you might have a little bit of that, not really acknowledging that you're an entrepreneur when you're telling me about this incredible business that you're building. So, but anyways, we all have our things we're working on. But what would your message to somebody who's in your position? So someone's a coach, and maybe you help people on this level as well with Uncommon. I don't know. Let's say there's someone right now who wants to take that leap. Right? They have a passion, they have an idea for a business, or they're on the edge, but they're afraid to leave the comfort of where they are right now for the risk of what they don't know. What would be your your advice to them?
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah, and that's very easier said than done, because I'm now standing on the side of like, going through whatever I've gone through to get to where I am today. Yeah. And everybody is going to have those failures. Yeah. And I'm like, a failure shouldn't be seen. I always take it as a learning. What can you learn from it?
This is it.
Like, if it helps you, how did it help you? If it harmed you, okay, let's take a look at like why that happened. I always say, set yourself up for success, do your research, do your homework, and talk to people who are already in that space as well. Come and have a chat to me. Like,
I mean, join the Uncommon Club, right?
Exactly.
Do people get access to you specifically? Like, are you kind of behind? Really?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So whether that's from sessions in person that the membership offers, but then also on the app as well, you can also have those moments to message people as well. So
wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I want more people to reach out, and if I can help, I will help, and if I can't, I'll send you to somebody that I know can give you that level.
I love that. I love that. I think so. Again, that's the coach in you. I was a coach for 15 plus years, so I know that is like that just desire to help, right? Now at some point you can't scale, you can't clone yourself, right? So you have to, but like you just said, you if you can't, you hand it over to someone you can, right?
Exactly.
And that's what the community is all about as well. This is remarkable. Jade, I mean, I'm so first of all, I'm now a fan of the brand more than I ever was before, because I didn't understand, to be honest. I heard of 777 and the amazing thing you did. By the way, how much did you guys raise for Sudan?
So it was over... Ooh, you put me on the spot here. I can't. It was
general figure.
I think it was over like $70,000 or something.
Okay, amazing.
I think something like that. Don't quote me on it, but it was a lot. Like
we'll edit the right number in. Pop up on the screen somewhere there. Actual number.
Actual number.
Yeah. Easy.
Okay, I should say 50,000.
No, maybe it was 100.
Maybe it was 100. Maybe let's see.
All right. Okay, so but you raised a considerable amount.
A considerable amount of money was raised, and that wasn't just us. That was also our community making those donations as well. So as we were going through the journey and the training, they were also living and breathing that journey with us as well. How much access we gave them to like the nitty gritty of what that was happening. Like I wasn't really like taking pictures of people saying like, hey, my toenail's gone black. But like...
Thank you for that. We appreciate that. We don't need that. Yeah.
But it was very much one of those things where, again, I always come back to community and the community that we grew through that were like-minded people who just wanted to see and help others and put them in a somewhat better position.
Right, and they were backing you the whole way.
Yeah,
wow,
we were so incredible. Like honestly, like we got very, very lucky.
Yeah, well, there's more than just luck in that. You know, you attracted who you were, authenticity. You know, and you want to help people and watch them win and grow, and so you attract people who want the same. That's kind of the law of the universe. Yeah. But wow, Jade. Well, look, I have one more question for you, and this has been an incredible conversation. That I know there's a lot of little nuggets of wisdom that when people listen, they're gonna have that little aha moment, you know. And I hope, and that's what this podcast is all about, right? I hope it prompts people to say, oh, you know, like I'm there, and you know, this person's story I really resonated with, and I'm ready to take the leap.
I hope so.
Yes, and I'm sure that will happen. So my last question is, after this incredible 777 where you raised an undisclosed amount of dollars, are you thinking, do you have something else planned? Because that was 7 ultra marathons?
7 ultra marathons.
In
7 days.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
In 7 Emirates, right?
In the 7 Emirates.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so 50K a day.
50K a day. It's probably what I do in a month. Remarkable. Do you have something else like that planned? Something extreme for charity or anything like that?
Nothing extreme.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. I think that will probably be like a alternating year. I'll probably like do something extreme because I mean I've proven to myself that I can do it. Right. So the only way to know how much more you can do is to try and do more. So if we're speaking to that, that would probably be like a longer race in one go rather than every day collecting those 50 kilometers. But right now, just purely focusing on the business launch and hopefully making sure the success of where we are already continues.
Yeah, amazing.
But from a personal side of things, it's definitely focusing on those shorter distances and just trying to get really fast, but also get really strong as well.
All right.
runners don't neglect your strength
or
mobility.
You heard it here first. Great tip. Well, look, I can't thank you enough for this conversation. Everyone listening, check out the Uncommon Club. Where can we find you? Where can we find the Uncommon Club? App Store, Instagram? What's the best way?
So you can find us on Instagram, and through our bio, you can find our app through there as well.
Perfect.
So IG is the way to go.
Amazing. Well, it was a real pleasure, Jade, and looking forward to having another conversation when you hit your next milestone in business.
Amazing.
Have you back here, and I want to hear all about it.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you, Jade.